Yeah. The Conquest.
JMXS.
Here we go. Cavemen had shit lives. They lived in caves and probably hated their wives. They didn't have plates, forks, spoons, or knives. They murdered each other every day to survive. Society has come a long way since that time. Compared to our ancestors, our lives are fine. We cut down the forests, filled in the swamps. We paved the fucking roads, planted fucking crops. We built new things, burned new things, invented new things, learned a few things. Machines and science are a couple I can mention. At this point in time, the coolest are steam engines. People nowadays have all kinds of crazy shit that cavemen didn't get. Compared to them right now, we sit on golden thrones and royal homes, a lot improved quite a bit. On golden thrones and royal homes, a lot improved quite a bit. Say you wanna grow some wheat but don't know how to start. Talk to someone else who knows or read a book to learn the art. Techniques have gotten better to the point that 100 men can grow enough food for 1,000 times 10. If you had to hunt to feed a family for a year, you would need 50 miles just to find enough deer. But if you grow wheat and use modern stuff, just 1/1000th of the land is enough. Even if you get bad weather, it's okay. A greenhouse keeps it warm, weeds are drowned in hay. If it gets too dark, a light makes it day. A tiny space can grow a lot of food or bales of hay. Thinking about machines, my mind is blown. 100 men can make 10,000 clothes. 100 miners fuel 10,000 homes. A couple months to build a city full of flats to own. But even though it's so much faster, we've studied nature and become her master. The benefit still mostly goes to just a handful who control society. But if we wish, technology that makes them rich could be used for something just, a happy life for all of us.
JMXS.
Civilization is drowning in riches. Why then, I ask, do people live in ditches? Why are their lives so sad and depressing? Why are they always just freaking out and stressing? Why can't they feel secure enough to change employers? Why can only wealthy people hire expert lawyers? These are the questions that the socialists have been on about. They measured stuff and proved their case and didn't leave a single doubt. They demonstrated how a few assholes were filled with greed and took all of the money earned to spend on stuff they didn't need. The work we do is useless too, it's just the stuff that makes them profit. Even if the work is harmful, long as they make something off it. All they have to do is make sure no one's savings last 3 weeks, so when they try to bargain for a higher wage, they will be weak. And then the rich men make them work to make the rich men even richer instead of helping life be better. Now you see the bigger picture. Take an example of any civilized land. The forests are cleared and the swamps turn to sand. The climate is comfy and the soil is fertile. Grapes in a line and veggies in a circle. Highways and roads cover every nook and cranny, which makes it easy when we want to drive to visit Granny. River rafts and harbors for protection from the waves. Cities filled with culture such as libraries and raves. All of it was built by people living lives of pain, oppressed and treated poorly but resulting in our gain. They worked for many thousand years to make the land we know. Their blood is in the soil and their tears are on the snow. The walls of the mines bear the marks from the tools of the men who dug the tunnels as they followed all the rules. And their bodies are buried under rubble in the caves. Their families cried and prayed over their empty graves. Dig 10 feet underneath an average shop or city block and find the bones of ancient workers who have died for what we've got. Society is built by every person in relation, and their atoms in the soil are what makes the wealth of nations. No thought and no invention in the past or in the present can be claimed by any person, be they scholar, lord, or peasant. There's a man who built the tractor, and he does deserve respect, but he used the knowledge gained in many previous subjects. And he survived to think it through because some people built his home and grew his food and sewed his clothes and made his roadways out of stone. Science needs machines, brains need muscle, the present needs the past, the genius needs the hustle. So how can any person, in their arrogance and greed, say this is mine because I made it, not because it's what I need?
JMXS.
Across the ages, it has slowly come to pass that the resources and tools we need to do our daily tasks have been seized from the masses and are owned by just a few, who do not allow the people who may need them use them too. The fields, the mines, machinery, and rails are controlled by those who bought them, even sceneries for sale. And if the children of their builders are the ones who thought them up, made a claim to all these things, then they'd be asked to please shut up. If starving children ask for bread from the owners of the tunnel that their father helped to build before his bones were crushed in rubble, where he gave his life and body and forever in it rests, then they'd be met with bayonets to safeguard vested interests. For the children of the workers, when they're welcomed onto earth, are given not a field to plow or just a chance to show their worth. If they beg and they're lucky, then they may be put to labor, but they'll be lifted of the profit and left pennies as a favor. And we cry and call out shame at how we used to live in pain under lords who hired peasants who would grow the food they claimed as a favor for the land on which the peasants put their feet. All in all, not much has changed. You can work or live on streets. And the trend of this production is to do what makes more wealth for the speculative market at expense of workers' health. And the speculator's target is the path of exploitation, which must contradict the interests of the worker and the nation. When there's fluctuating markets and the industry's in crisis, then the first thing that they do is fire workers, then raise prices, and they turn to other nations where the people can be slaughtered and provided with free markets where their labor is sought after, and they fight with other nations for the right to use those places. In the East and Africa, the West exploited other races. The poor lack education, for they can't afford to spend the time and money they would need like meritocracists pretend. And as soon as proletariat demand political rights, then the liberal democracists will quickly turn and fight them. They bring out guns and swords, police, lawyers, and judges, all to suppress the people who are fighting for their justice. We've lived thousands of years, but if we wish to live another, we must cultivate some self-respect and help out one another. But the ruling class would have us live in lobster social systems. They make naturalistic claims and do pseudoscience with them. The sermons from the Bible say to help our fellow human, but they ridicule these ideas when you actually try to do them. It's a great idea, they say, but put in practice you must die, and they so easily will show that their morality's a lie. And so I say that one thing's clear, we just cannot live thus. If we don't turn back to truth, then there will be no path for us. Our capacity to live another decade is a function of our willingness and power to collectivize production. All belongs to all. Fuck the individual who claims to have some right to things due to some stupid ritual. All belongs to all. We all have played a part. Stop measuring how much each person did. Instead, we'll start caring for all. Women must never have the right to claim that if we wish to farm the land, we must pay tax on every grain. All belongs to all. The right to work is evil. We don't want the fruits of work. We want well-being for the people.